Good morning, students. This is lecture number 2 for chapter number 6 on the face of it, written by Susan Hill for class 12th, subject English, book Vistas. Children, in my lecture number 1 of this chapter number 6, I taught you pages from 56 to 59, and today in this lecture number 2, we shall start from page number 60 till 63. Right? So, in this lecture, first I will give you recap of my lecture number 1. Okay? And then we shall proceed further. Now children, we will recapitulate lecture number 1 of this chapter number 6 on the face of it. In lecture number 1, I taught you about the protagonists of the play. They are Derry and Mr. Lamb. Derry is a teenage boy, defiant, pessimistic, and takes much care about his disability and feels very lonely. Whereas the second protagonist is Mr. Lamb, who is an old man. He has an optimistic approach towards life. He doesn't care much about his disability, though he is lonely, but he remains happy. Right? And I taught you the play begins with the teenage boy, that is Derry. When he enters a garden, his face is burnt on one side of it due to some accident that happened in his life when acid fell on his half face and the face got burnt. He has gone to the garden to hide himself as he is afraid of facing people. He fears being teased by others for having such a bad face, but when he enters, he finds someone already present there. He tries to leave the place, but he is stopped by the old man, Mr. Lamb, who is the owner of the garden. Derry feels guilty for entering the garden without permission. Mr. Lamb welcomes him and tells him not to leave just because of his presence. Derry wants to leave as he thinks people don't like his face and moreover they get afraid of his looks. But Mr. Lamb insists him to stay there. They enter into a conversation that how Derry is not liked by anyone and how he hates people behaving like this with him, and Mr. Lamb tries to console him. He tells him that he has a thin leg and kids make fun of him. Still he is not depressed and he believes in enjoying life. So this is what is the sum up of lecture number 1, where we studied about Derry and Mr. Lamb, and now we will proceed further from page number 60 onwards. So children, let's begin our lecture number 2 with page number 60. You see on page number 60, I shall begin this with the dialogue of Derry, where Derry says, I won't ever look different. When I am as old as you, I'll look the same. I'll still only have half a face. Mr. Lamb says, so you will, but the world won't. The world has got a whole face and the world's there is to be looked at. Derry, do you think this is the world? This old garden? Mr. Lamb, when I am here, not the only one, but the world, as much as everywhere. Does your leg hurt you? Tin doesn't hurt, boy. When did it come off? Did it? Certainly. And now, I mean, where the tin stops at the top? Mr. Lamb answers, now and then. In wet weather, it doesn't signify. Oh, that's something else they all say. Look at all those people who are in pain and brave and never cry and never complain and don't feel sorry for themselves. Mr. Lamb, I haven't said it. Derry, and think of all those people worse off than you. Think, you might have been blinded or born deaf or have to live in a wheelchair or be daft in your head and dribble. So children, you see, in these lines if you see the word, that is dribble. Dribble is to fall slowly, right? And it is, Derry said that he would never look different. When he would be as old as Mr. Lamb, then also he would have only half a face. Mr. Lamb said that yes, he would always have half a face, but the world was full of so many things to look at. So he must look at its beauty. Derry questioned him. That was the garden, the whole world for him. On this, Lamb said, when he was present in the garden, the whole garden was his world. He then questioned him whether his leg hurt him, and Lamb replied that the tin did not hurt it, and it never pained also. Derry asked him if he suffered pain when he lost his leg. Mr. Lamb said that it pained back then. He then asked him if it pained now where the artificial leg stuck into the real one. Lamb said that sometimes it pained in wet weather, but it was not that much important. Derry said that he could understand what he meant by this, as he had heard people saying that you should take a lesson from those people who suffer in pain and never cry or complain about their problems. Mr. Lamb said that he did not say so. Derry continued that people told him to look at those people who were in worse conditions than him. They told him that he might have become blind, be born deaf, or be handicapped, or have to remain in a wheelchair the whole life. Then he may even have been born with mental disorder. Mr. Lamb said that yes, it was true, and Derry knew all such things so much. Now I am reading their dialogues on page number 61. Children, this is complete scene 1 going on. And here Mr. Lamb says, and that's all true and you know it. Derry says, it won't make my face change. Do you know, one day a woman went by me in the street. I was at a bus stop and she was with another woman, and she looked at me and she said, whispered, only I heard her. She said, look at that. That's a terrible thing. That's a face only a mother could love. Mr. Lamb said, so you believe everything you hear then? It was cruel. Mr. Lamb, maybe not meant as much, just something said between them. Only I heard it, I heard. And is that the only thing you ever heard anyone say in your life? Oh no, I have heard a lot of things. So now you keep your ears shut. Derry says, you are peculiar. Peculiar means strange, different from others. You say peculiar things. You ask questions I don't understand. Mr. Lamb says, I like to talk, have company. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to stop here at all. The gate's open. Derry, yes, but... Then Mr. Lamb says, I have a hive of bees behind those trees over there. Some hear bees and they say bees buzz. But when you listen to bees for a long while, they hum. And hum means sing. I hear them singing my bees. Derry says, but I like it here. I came in because I liked it. When I looked over the wall. Then Mr. Lamb says, if you had seen me, you would not have come in. Derry, no. Mr. Lamb says, no. So, what do they talk about in this conversation? Derry said that all this would not change his face. One day, he was waiting at a bus stop where a woman passed by him, and he heard her telling another woman that this boy had a terrible face and only his mother could love him. No one else could do that for him. Then Mr. Lamb asked Derry if he believed what he heard. Derry stressed that and he said yes, he heard that and he believed that. Then Mr. Lamb asked Derry, that was the only thing that he had heard from someone? Then Derry said no, he had heard many other things too. Then Lamb suggested him to shut his ears, means he should ignore all this listening or hearing to the bad words spoken by others. Then Lamb suggested him to shut his ears, and Derry found Lamb's words were strange and added that he couldn't understand his questions also. Then Mr. Lamb said that he liked to talk, he liked to company of others. He also told him that there was no need to answer him as the gate was always open and he could leave if he wanted to. Then Derry did not leave and he seemed unsure of it. Mr. Lamb said there was a beehive in one of the trees there, and people considered the buzzing sound of the bees to be a noise, but for him it was a song sung by the bees. Derry explained that he had liked the place from outside and so had entered the garden. Mr. Lamb questioned him that he would have left the garden if he had seen him, which Derry replied in the negative. Here, one example Mr. Lamb gave of the greenery in his garden. He pointed out one tree and asked what he could see. He said weeds, and he told him the difference between weeds and trees. That is all the perception based idea. Here he gave another example of the hive. He said when these bees buzz, people call it that this is an irritating sound created by the bees. But that sound pleased Mr. Lamb. This is all the difference of the perception. One can have different perception towards different things. Similarly, different people can have different perception towards the same thing. So this was the way of Mr. Lamb. He was trying to teach Derry that things are not as much bad as he was taking in his life, but if he wanted to live his life, he could live with a positive perception. So let's proceed further. Page number 61. Somewhere at the end I am reading the dialogue of Derry. He said, "It would have been trespassing." Trespassing means entering without permission. Mr. Lamb, that's not why. Derry, I don't like being near people when they stare. Stare means they continuously look. When I see them being afraid of me. Mr. Lamb, you could lock yourself up in a room and never leave that. There was a man who did that. He is giving another example to Derry. He was afraid. And you see, of everything in this world, a bus might run over him, or a man might breathe deadly germs onto him, or a donkey might kick him to death, or lightning might strike him down, or he might love a girl and the girl would leave him, and he might slip on a banana skin and fall, and people who saw him would laugh at their heads off. So he went into his room and locked the door and got into his bed and stayed there. Derry, forever? Mr. Lamb, for a while. Then what? A picture fell off the wall onto his head and killed him. This makes Derry laugh. Mr. Lamb, you see, Derry, but you still say peculiar things. Peculiar to some. Then it was another idea of Mr. Lamb to teach Derry that life is not bad. If he wants to enjoy it, he can go for many different things that would make him laugh and that would make him love the life. So, Derry told Mr. Lamb in these lines that he had entered his garden even after knowing that he was there. Right? It would have been without his permission. Mr. Lamb said that was not the real reason. Derry said that he didn't like going near people because he thinks that people are afraid of him and they keep staring at him. Mr. Lamb suggested him that he could lock himself in a room forever. He then narrated a story of a man who locked himself in the room because he was afraid of everything. The man thought that he would meet his end with an accident, with a bus, he would catch infection from someone, a donkey could kick him off to death, or the lightning may hit him, or he may die because the girl whom he loved may leave him. These are so many examples that Mr. Lamb tells that how the man was afraid of death. So, he locked himself into a room and he decided not to go out of the room. Then one day a picture that was hanging onto the wall fell on him and the man died. This made Derry laugh. This was another example given by Mr. Lamb to Derry for changing his perception towards life. Then, after listening to Mr. Lamb, Derry says, "What do you do all day?" Mr. Lamb, "Sit in the sun, read books." "Ah, you thought it was an empty house, but inside it's full. Books and other things. Full." Derry, "But there aren't any curtains at the windows?" Mr. Lamb, "I am not fond of curtains. Shutting things out, shutting things in. I like the light, the darkness, and the windows open to hear the wind." Derry, "Yes, I like that. When it's raining, I like to hear it on the roof." Mr. Lamb, "So you are not lost, are you?" "Not altogether. You do hear things, you listen." Derry, "They talk about me downstairs. When I am not there, what will he ever do? What's going to happen to him when we have gone? However will he get on in this world? Looking like that, with that on his face, that's what they all say or they talk about." Mr. Lamb, "Lord, boy, you have got 2 arms, 2 legs, and eyes and ears. You have got a tongue and a brain. You'll get on the way you want, like all the rest. And if you choose and set your mind to it, you could get on better than all the rest." "How?" "Same way as I do." Then, in these lines also, Derry started asking Mr. Lamb what he used to do all day. And Mr. Lamb replied that he used to sit in the sun, he loves to read books, and he laughs because his house was full of books. Derry looked at the house and said there weren't any curtains on the windows. To which Mr. Lamb replied that he did not like the curtains, he liked transparency. He liked light, darkness, and wind too. Derry added that he also liked all of these things, but he did not like people talking about him. He said whenever it rains, he goes upstairs and he tries to listen the sound of falling shower. Then Mr. Lamb commented that Derry was present-minded as he could hear. Derry said that his family got worried about him, that what would this boy do in future with a burnt face. Mr. Lamb made him realize that he was blessed with 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, ears, and etc., and a lovely brain he had that was working very well. Then he wanted to make him realize that he had so much which many other people were deprived of. He added that Derry could accomplish a lot if he determined to do so. Derry asked how was it possible, and Mr. Lamb replied the same was as he did. That Mr. Lamb did not give importance to his impairment, but he focused on the things he was blessed with. Right? That made him change his perception towards his life. And the same lesson he was teaching that teenage boy named Derry. Derry asks, in fact, another question to Mr. Lamb. He says, "Do you have any friends?" Mr. Lamb answers, "Hundreds." Derry says, "But you live by yourself in that house. It's a big house too." Mr. Lamb says, "Friends everywhere. People come in. Everybody knows me. The gate's always open. They come and sit here and in front of the fire in winter. Kids come for the apples and pears and for toffee. I make toffee with honey. Anybody comes. So have you." Derry, "But I am not a friend." Mr. Lamb, "Certainly you are. So far as I am concerned, what have you done to make me think you are not?" Derry, "You don't know me. You don't know where I come from or even what my name is." Mr. Lamb, "Why should that signify? Do I have to write all your particulars down and put them in a filing box before you can be a friend?" Derry, "I suppose not. No." Mr. Lamb, "You could tell me your name if you choose and not if you didn't." Derry answers, "Derry. Only it's Derek, but I hate that." Derry, "If I am your friend, you don't have to be mine. I choose that." Mr. Lamb, "Certainly." Derry, "I might never come here again, You might never see me again. Then I couldn't still be a friend. Mr. Lamb: Why not? Then Derry says, How could I? You pass people in the street and you might even speak to them. But you never see them again. It doesn't mean they are your friends. So, this is the end of page number 63. And what do we conclude out of their conversation on page number 63? That is, Derry asked Mr. Lamb another question, whether he had many friends or not. And Mr. Lamb replied that he had hundreds of friends. Derry further said that still he lived alone in such a big house. To this Mr. Lamb said that everyone was his friend. Many people visited his garden because he keeps the gate always open. They sat there by the fire in winter season. Kids come to pick apples and pears from him, and in fact he makes toffees out of honey for them, and children come to take those toffees also. Derry said that he wasn't a friend of Mr. Lamb. To this he said Derry was also a friend of him because he had not done any such thing that should cease their friendship. Derry said that they did not know each other well to become friends. Mr. Lamb did not consider that to be important. He did not need Derry's particulars before becoming friends with him. Mr. Lamb said that if he wished he could tell him his name, to which Derry replied that his name was Derek, but he disliked it. Children, do remember his real name was Derek. That he replied to Mr. Lamb. And he said he did not like that name, but he wanted to be called Derry. He added that he might not visit the place in future. Then why they would not remain friends anymore? Then Mr. Lamb asked the reason, and Derry replied that one crosses many people while walking down the street, might speak to a few of them and never see them again. This did not mean that they had become friends. So, this was till the page number 63. Okay, this was the complete conversation of scene 1 of the play On the Face of It. Now we proceed towards homework. Children, you are supposed to read this chapter till page number 63 thoroughly, and you are supposed to answer the question given in read and find out box on page number 62. Right? So, on the basis of understanding, you can answer it. I hope that you people are generating interest in the chapter because the chapter is really interesting. So, read it thoroughly and answer the question given on page number 62 in read and find out box. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay happy.